Welcome everyone. Today I have an interesting chapter to present. I have a very interesting, honorable, eminent personality of the dairy industry, Mr. Bhaskar Reddy. A person, a man who needs no introduction, but I want to take the pleasure to introduce him. So, Mr. Bhaskar Reddy is the founder and managing director of Creamline Dairy, who sells under the brand name Jersey. And I am very excited to listen from the horse's mouth of how this whole growth story has happened and what we can learn from that growth story. Creamline Dairy started with a group of friends in the year 1989, a very humble beginning with a lot of hurdles. Today has grown into a large tree that is serving, that is helping the whole nation. Mr. Bhaskar Reddy has a huge profile of learnings. Apart from learning real time as a startup business, he also has degrees from the ISB. A great learning and a great personality. Let us see what he has to offer us to learn. So, sir, it's a real honor to have you here today. And we would like to start this session by understanding how your growth story has been. I know we understand that it has not been really easy and simple, but we really would like to know from your sharing.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much, Deepthi, for inviting me here today to your facility, this wonderful biotechnology lab, and giving me a guided tour of the facility, and also that wonderful introduction. So, coming to your question. So this is all, as you already mentioned, we are a first generation entrepreneurs, and started in 1989 as a group of friends, fresh from college, from dairy technology. And at that time, government of India was and the dairy sector was reserved for cooperative sector. So it's a government controlled, licensed, and no private player was allowed to operate in dairy industry. So that's when we did our graduation from dairy technology. Then we were just looking for an opportunity, and there was one small loophole where technocrats can start an entity, not in the milk, but milk products. So Creamline started with that premise of starting a small product facility with a 1500 liter per day capacity and a small machinery for flavored milk, ghee, kind of a products, not milk. So first 3-4 years was a big struggle because as a first generation entrepreneurs, we were unable to manage our operations, finances, and all those things. But the opportunity has come when then government headed by PV Narasimha Rao. So they have opened our economy, and they said that now there is no more reservation for milk sector. And that's when the gates were opened for private entrepreneurs. So since we have already entrenched with our activity, and then we took it off, and there is no looking back after initial struggles. So that's the beginning, I could say, we're starting.
Right. That's quite a journey and a beginning.
Yeah.
So it's been almost 3 decades, right? A little more than
Yeah.
3 decades of Creamline Dairy. From all these 3 decades, what do you say is your remarkable breakthrough?
Actually, if you just recollect 3 decades back, maybe some of the older generation could able to recollect that milk in Hyderabad was a precious commodity. It was handled by very unorganized people. Quality was very poor, and except for 1 or 2 cooperative dairies, availability was not there, and consumers were at the mercy of the agents. So even it was in the hands of riffraffs, the distribution system also. A housewife was unable to go to buy a milk. So to buy a milk packer, she used to send her son or husband only, because that kind of atmosphere was prevailing. So that's when our foray into the milk, So young graduates and approachable people, and we went person to person, family to family, and we could able to build connect between housewives, families, and dairy industry. So that has made one of the remarkable change in the perception of the milk buyers in the
Wow.
city.
Wow. That's quite a remarkable breakthrough. Starting the business with relationships.
Yep.
Yes. Lovely. And I would also like to know what has been your challenges in creating this breakthrough. Obviously, you said it was a startup then,
Yeah.
and the four friends who started, who were the founders, has khud jaake kare. So, what has been? Can you share the challenges, certain challenges?
The real challenge was milk procurement.
Oh,
So at that time, in fact, we approached the government dairy because we are a processor and a marketer, basically to reach out consumer. As a private entrepreneur, it's easy to reach out to the consumer. But milk procurement was a farmer's game. We really wanted that to remain with cooperative sector, and we approached government that you keep providing through cooperative sector the milk to us, but unfortunately they were not willing, and we went to Sangam Dairy, which is in Guntur. We used to source milk from them because it's an independent cooperative unit of the district. But within no time, because of the politics of the government, they withdrew. So that's when the first challenge came to us in terms of milk procurement. And we took that challenge, and we partnered with 4 or 5 entrepreneurs who are experienced in the cooperative sector. And through them, we established 5 chilling centers, and then we started procuring high quality milk from there and all the way bringing to city and marketing it. So that is one of the breakthrough, and we could able to establish initial quality and initial supply chain and entire end-to-end link. That made us a huge success.
I think that has been the next step of this growth story where it has been created.
Yeah.
It's quite a breakthrough thinking, unusual thinking of creating entrepreneurs and creating the chilling centers, right?
Yeah.
Very, very encouraging and motivating. Now, having learned from your experience in this dairy sector, what are the pain points related to the distribution and supply chain management?
Um, Milk is a 24-hour game. Like the moment it produced in somewhere remote village from a farmer through the procurement system, and it has to travel almost to 200 to 300 kilometers, and next morning it has to be in the hands of the consumer. So I think a lot of activity goes in. Within 2 to 3 hours, it will reach the nearest chilling center where it is chilled, and then next 1 2 hours it will get transported in a insulated tanker to the nearest processing plant, where the entire processing will take place in terms of all the products and separations and pasteurization, and then pack and supply. So all these operations needs a very close monitoring, and people should be entrenched in all the activities. So that makes a real challenge, and it is a highly perishable.
Right.
And by the time it reaches consumer, we have to maintain the temperature at least 7 8 degrees or less than 10 degrees, so that the milk stays for next 1 2 days in the refrigerator.
True.
So this is a kind of a tougher activity. Uh, yeah, but that's how it is.
What is your take on food biotechnology?
Food biotechnology is now upcoming. Like last, if you say when we started, food biotechnology was nowhere near. And last decade, I think they made enormous growths. And yeah, future is food biotechnology, as you all know. A lot of, even in dairy also, it is already we are making use of some of these active cultures, yogurt cultures, and so which earlier it's very difficult to make our curd. Now we are able to make it and store it for a week
Right.
under controlled conditions. That's because of the lot of interventions in terms of.
Okay. So, having started conversation about yogurt, so we would like to know more about the products of Jersey.
Mhm.
The company which started as a milk provider, then forayed into butter and ice creams and many other products as such. So, we would like you to share about those products. How did the perception came and
So, as you rightly pointed out, we started as a milk company, just linking between farmers and consumers, just processed milk and all that. But by default, a dairy company needs to, you'll get some cream out of the entire operation. So, once you get cream, you need to start making various products. And when we started, the per capita consumption was less than 180 grams, though we need almost more than 300 grams per day, an average consumption of milk. So that was a wide opportunity was there. So natural progression was into products, and earlier we used to do only 10% of our entire volume into products. Now it moved almost 50-50 kind of a thing, value added products versus milk. And even the markets are also dynamically changing. Earlier we used to set curd at home. Now more than 60-70% curds are being manufactured at factory and being served to the consumer. So that's also the shift is happening very actively. And now Jersey, we have developed a range of products right from earlier it was only flavored milk, ghee, butter and milk. These was the few products. But over a period of this 30 years, our first powder plant started at Ongole in 2000, year 2002, like that. And then we have a Tetra Pak plant where long shelf life milks will be made.
True.
And curd facilities are there. We have almost 11 plants across southern India. I was just mentioning our northernmost plant in Nagpur and southernmost plant in Kanyakumari. Through this 11, it's a milk industry is like hub and spoke model.
Yes.
So every 300 kilometers you have a plant, you have a 15-20 chilling centers, you procure milk and this feeder balance dairy will process. Any surplus milk or surplus products will go to the centralized feeder balance dairy where we'll make all kinds of changes. So we serve around 700,000, 7 lakh consumers, and we procure through 1.5 lakh farmers across.
Wow. That's a big contribution to the
India.
farmers as well. I'm sure it has been a source of employment to many farmers, many dairy farmers.
Yeah.
Would you like to say more about that?
Farmers is integral part of this chain because in the dairy industry, they say 33%, one third will be the procurement, one third will be the processing value chain, and one third will be in the marketing. So our one third activity is entrenched with the farmers and their activities. We provide them with all kinds of support in terms of feed, fodder, veterinary medicine, veterinary services, and all dairy related activities. And also our payments will be on every 10th day farmer will get, that's an economic activity.
Okay.
So when compared to all other professions, dairy like animal rearing, in our country, it's like this, a housewife will take pride in rearing a cow or buffalo at her house, and whatever small amounts she get through this activity will be provided to their children's education, and without disturbing her dignity, this activity.
Absolutely.
So other activity, if you have to go agriculture labor, you need to go out and serve and give the service, which dilutes her image.
Right.
Most of the houses in our traditional families, they doesn't want to expose themselves. but still they want to work. Like this is in the four walls, they rear the animal, they'll do all kinds of things and they milk it, everything. Still, they, with a dignified activity. That's how Amul success story.
And also there is a sacred, this is perceived as a sacred activity.
Exactly. Milk, when compared to many other activities,
Yes.
milk is a sacred activity.
Absolutely. So now, Gubba being a cold storage company and Jersey having a vast portfolio of products, dairy products, I'm very interested to know how do you manage your cold chain requirements? What challenges do you face?
Uh, uh, Again, cold chain is integral part of dairy. So all our plants will have a cold store, both frozen cold store for butter and ice cream, and normal cold store for milk and other products.
Right.
So it's a inbuilt like in the plant. But we do need the services because dairy industry is a cyclical industry, and there will be 30-40% jump in flush season, and will go to as low as less than 50% in summers.
Okay.
So whenever flush is there, we produce a lot of butter. I think there we use the services, and we are using services of Gubba since long, maybe
Yes.
2-3 decades. And our first facility was in this Nagpur highway only, and I remember 3 decades back, even Gubba was having this cold store. Mr. Nagendra was there. So at that time also, we used to go in the similar fashion, and I'm amazed with the kind of a growth Gubba also made during these 3 decades. I think you expanded very well, and next generation has come into play, and I'm very happy the way you're growing, and all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those kind words. Now, as a last thing to know, Gubba being a family owned organization and the way it has reared the employees and grown, the way, as you said, the way the organization has grown, Creamline Dairy also, I perceive it in a similar way.
Yep.
Definitely, it is an amalgamation of values, systems, processes, and structures. So, what has been the commitment, life, and lifeline of Creamline?
Uh, the people are the lifeline of the Creamline. So right from beginning, whenever our first employee still is with us, so
Wow.
that's how we maintain the relationship with the employees, and they are part of the entire journey. So that's one commitment, and then trust and integrity are the two things, because dairy industry is very vulnerable for adulterations and mismanagement and fraudulent activities, because entire thing is either in the form of milk, which easily can be diluted with water, and also earlier it was cash. Now it has been digitalized, but earlier first our 15-20 years of our lives, we used to handle huge cash. So any payment from here we used to take in a gunny bag and go and distribute to the farmers. So that kind of a, so all the way taking a gunny bag cash in the train to Ongole or Guntur and distributing there next day was a Herculean challenge. So in entire our journey, this trust factor played. Never ever, like, all the people were trustworthy, and integrity levels were very high, and no compromise on those things. So that's the value system which we inherited.
Lovely. That's wonderful. I am learning it as a takeaway. I am taking it away from this interaction with you, sir. And having said that, it has been a great time spent with Mr. Bhaskar Reddy. I got to learn so many things that adds value to me and my organization. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
No, it's my pleasure. I think you're doing wonderful activity, and it is also connected with seed, food, and pharma, and also biotechnology now, value add services you are giving. And I definitely, I think, see great future for this organization, and I wish you great future, and all the best to all your people and you and your team. Uh, Thank you very much for inviting me here today.
Thank you. Thank you.